welcome to Axel's Garage. Today I'm futzing with the TJ, and like in the house, you know, we went from incandescent bulbs in the house to the CFLs, the compact fluorescents, whatever the freak they're called, and then from them we went to the LED lights. And if you haven't done that in your house, the electrical savings, especially if you got a bunch of kids running around, is huge. So I also like to look at the LED lights on the cars. So, you know, I looked at some of the new tail light, and you get the whole housing, or the directionals, you get the whole housing, and an LED panel board wired into it, and it's real good quality, sealed up stuff, nice, but pretty pricey yet. They've come down a little bit over the last couple of years, but they haven't really come down a lot. So my quick fix was LED bulbs. What happens when you switch your bulbs over to LEDs is you get hyperflash, because your flasher usually is designed, the flasher I think works on the resistance and the wire or something like that. That's why when one of your bulbs goes out and you put your directional on, it flashes really quick, because it's not reading the right amount. So because the LEDs use such little power, they're not reading the right amount. So you need to replace the flasher also with some kind of solid state flasher, and we got one of them. And all in all, to do all the bulbs in the vehicle plus a flasher using quality bulbs, you're looking at around 40 bucks or so. So it's not dirt cheap, you know, like it would be if you just replaced all your bulbs with the regular old-fashioned bulbs. It's a little bit more money, still a lot less savings than buying LED light fixtures for everything. And the result is similar, not the same. They're not as good as buying a full LED fixture, but it's similar, and it gets you by. It looks kind of neat. The draw is a lot less in your electrical system, which usually isn't a big deal, but if you think about it, if you have a 100-amp alternator, say, and you can lower the draw on that alternator on a regular basis, hopefully you get more life out of that alternator, is the theory behind it, at least my theory behind it. And I kind of like the way it looks, and the bulbs last a lot longer, because the LED bulbs just, you know, are resilient to everything. They don't really get hot when they're on. They just last longer. So I kind of like the way it looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some in. I'll show you one of them on the taillight, and then I'll bang the rest of them in, and I'll show you where that flasher is, so that you can replace that flasher also. Alright, so on the Jeep, the taillight's really easy to take apart. This Jeep happens to have these stupid brush guards or stone guards, whatever you call them. I guess it's good for when you bang into stuff. But 4 screws, they come right off. There's no seal on the back. There is like a rubber seal on the inside in here. Keeps the moisture out. Alright, bulb I'm having a problem with is the regular 1157, which is a stop and a tail light. It's a dual filament. The stop side is out, tail light side isn't out. So now what you got to do is pop that bulb out. Up here you got your standard 1156. This one's working. Alright, and it only shines white. They're both white bulbs because the lens is colored. Right on the lens, you got your red for your stop and tail, and you got a clear one for your white light, which is your back. So you're just going to put it right back in your housing. This one, actually, the top screws on and off. Make sure the top is tight. Go right back in your housing there. Push it down, and give it a turn. So it's locked in, and that one is in. And you see how long it is compared to a regular one, but it's not so long where it's interfering with anything. And then I'll take my other bulb, and this should be my clear white for my backup light, and you can see the 2 nipples are in the same spot. It's a single filament bulb, and you're going to slide that one into the grooves as well. Alright, and they should be good. And now the best thing to do is just to test it out, make sure that it's working. So I'll throw the lights on. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And you can see it's a pretty bright light, even in the sun. I don't know how it's coming out on the camera, but even in the sun it's real bright. And you throw it in reverse, put the key on, and you got your reverse one lighting up pretty good too. Now the thing about some of these white lights is they tend to have a blue hint to them, and I know some inspectors will fail a vehicle if they're seeing blue through this and not just white. And it's been my experience so far that the better quality bulb you get, the more white it is and the less blue it is. So pretty much all we need to do is just put this lens cover back on, make sure it seats in the right spot. And just turn the 4 screws in. Alright, so that's one taillight done. Let me do the other taillight, do the front directionals and the front markers, and then I'll be back to show you the solid state flasher and where that is. Alright, so the flasher is up under the dash, and the easiest way it was in my 97 was to remove this panel and reach right back, and it was hanging right there on a wire. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this panel off. There's 2 screws, and it goes over the light switch, and it hinges down and comes off, and you should be able to reach right in and see where that flasher is. Let's take a look. Alright, so you got this metal bracket, which looks like that's going to have to come out as well. Unless you got small hands, and you could probably get in there without removing this metal bracket. But it's just 2 screws, or 4 screws. Okay, so here's your flasher. In the 98, it's not just hanging like it was in the 97, it's actually clipped on a bracket and it slides right out of the bracket. Bracket's screwed in up under the dash. But same concept. In the 97, it was just hanging at the end of a harness. But there's the original flasher. Now actually here's my new flasher. The old one's a little taller. This is a solid state flasher. Assembled in the USA. I guess that means it was made with components that weren't in the USA. But anyway, it's an EP26 is what you want for these Jeep Wranglers. Alright, and before you button it all back up, I guess the best thing to do is turn the key on. And check your directionals. Alright, they're flashing at the right speed. Alright. Put your lights on, make sure they stay at the right speed. On the brake with the lights on, looks good. And then on the brake with the lights off. And then flashing at the right speed. Okay, stop right there. Stop. At this point in the video, what I planned on doing was waited a few hours till it got dark, turn the lights on, and take some shots of the LED bulbs in the dark, which would have looked real cool, except for one thing. Nothing went as planned. And what happened were those 1157 LEDs that I put in the taillights were extremely dim when we turned the vehicle on. And when you stepped on the brake, they got nice and bright and they were good, but as regular taillights, they were really, really dim. So I checked them, and it appeared to me that I had bad bulbs. Because like I said, these were the same exact bulbs that I put in my daughter's 97 Wrangler. Now in this 98 Wrangler, they were dim. Checked them, they seemed to work fine. Couldn't get them to operate correctly. So I wound up going online, I ordered another set of bulbs. Same bulbs. I figured the bulbs were bad. Put those bulbs in, same thing. So I went back and ordered another set, only different bulbs. Said, alright, maybe this, I got lucky with my daughters and this one I'm just having bad luck. Order another set different. I actually liked them a little bit better, put them in, and they didn't work either. And what was happening was, I'd put the bulb in and it would work. And then I'd put the other bulb in on the other taillight, and the first one that I put in that was on would go out. And then if I disconnected, if I took the whole taillight housings apart and everything, and if I disconnected some of the harness, if I disconnected the directional wire in the harness, the bulbs would work fine. They would be lit up, and when you put your foot on the brake, they would get brighter. I don't know. So I did a little research online. They said make sure you don't have a short in your taillight housings and you had a good ground. We had all that. Then a lot of people said, well, everything is wired through the multifunction switch. They call it a directional switch. On this one, it doesn't have cruise control, so it's just a directional switch. They said everything's wired through that. I happen to have a spare directional switch on the shelf, so what did I do? I took the column apart, put a spare directional switch in, nothing, same problem. Traced all the wires, everything's good, all the connections are good, nothing, didn't work. After I was driving myself crazy, I put the original incandescent 1157 bulbs in, and they work fine. So there's got to be a wiring difference between the 97 and the 98. That wiring difference is driving the LEDs crazy, because remember, the LEDs can't go in sort of both ways like a regular bulb can go in both ways. They only go in one way, and something just wasn't jiving. So rather than just drive myself crazy and try to find another bulb, I even tried those resistors, those heavy 50 amp resistors that they use for LED bulbs. I had a couple of them laying around, tried them, that didn't help either. So after exhausting all my options, or the options that I wanted to exhaust, I said, you know what, just let me get something bright. And what we found on eBay was a set of halogen 30 watt 1157 bulbs. They're not LEDs, but they're nice and bright. So but anyway, I found a set of nice 194s. They have LEDs going around the side and LEDs going in the front. The ones that I had put in this car only had a real strong projector LED coming out the front, and it didn't really light up the lens well. So I found these in a set of 10, really inexpensive on eBay. And to finish out my LED lighting, what I have here is a dome light replacement. It's a universal fit. It's got a bunch of different adapters that plug into your dome light bulb, but then it gives you this 24 LED panel that you sit in your dome light housing, and it really lights up the interior of the car, which is real nice. And then that completes my LED thing. So now I'm going to put these bulbs in and do it the right way, and then wait till it gets dark later, and I'll give you a couple clips of what it looks like at night. Hopefully it looks better, hopefully everything works, and then we can wrap it all up. Alright, so we were supposed to cut to a clip of the TJ sitting there in the dark with the LED lights on, looking all snazzy, and no, that didn't work. It turns out that a lot of those LED bulbs that I bought, when I plugged them in, they seemed to be working right, and they just weren't working right. So we did a little research, went online, found a place on eBay called JDM aStar or JD Master. I think it's a play on words with JDM and Master. I don't know. But anyway, if I can, I'll put a link in the description below when I edit the video. Anyway, we got some bulbs for them. They were real high quality bulbs. All LED bulbs all around. The only exception was the rear tail and brake lights. Those two 1157 bulbs, for some reason, just would not work in LED, so we went with 30 watt halogen bulbs there. The backup reverse light, the clear ones, those we were able to use LEDs in there, and we used LEDs everywhere else. We also used LEDs in the dome light, and that's an LED panel. It's got 3 little adapters to adapt it to whatever type of light bulb you might have in your dome light, and then you put that panel in, you put your lens back on, and it's really bright, really nice. So it's a couple months later, we're finally getting around to finishing up the video. It's cold out, but now I'll take you over to the TJ and I'll show you what they look like. It really does make a difference, and it helps on the load on your electrical system. If it's hurting, you know, in a basic TJ, it's not really hurting anyway, but hopefully I'll get a lot longer life out of these bulbs. They look a lot better, they're a lot brighter, really like them. Check out what you think. Alright, so here are the 30 watt halogen 1157 replacement bulbs. Nice and bright with the LED side markers and the LED front marker lights. And going inside, you can see how bright the interior is with this LED panel that's in the dome light housing. Really lights up the interior. Alright, I don't know how good the camera picked up the lights. In the viewfinder, I was getting a lot of like those glowing halos from the lights, but I'm really happy with them. The front's nice and bright. They work really well. The directionals really pop when you have the directionals on. The interior dome light is phenomenal, and the reverse lights are nice. Actually, I didn't give you a clip of them. Let me give you a clip of them real quick. All right, so here's a quick clip of these reverse lights, which really light everything up. It's pretty dark right where the vehicle's parked right now, and you can see how much light you actually get behind the vehicle. Right, so that was the reverse lights. They're pretty nice. You can see how much it brightens it up. It's almost like having headlights behind you. Like I said, it was JDM Master, or JD Master, or JDM aStar. The link's down below. Got the stuff on eBay. Real nice, good quality bulbs. I'm real happy with the stuff I bought from them. The only thing I'm not that happy with are those halogens in the back and the brake tail. There's just not a big differentiation when you got your directional on. It doesn't, dim and up, and when you put your brake on, it's just not. It seems like the brightness is on the normal tail light. When you put your foot on the brake, it only gets a little bit brighter. It does get brighter, but only a little bit. So for now, I think I might go back to the standard 1157 bulbs, because I'm just not seeing the benefit there of those 30-watt halogen bulbs at all. And they're drawing a lot more wattage than I need to be drawing back there, putting through the electrical system. So I'll probably go back to the standard bulbs only in that location. Everything else I'm really happy with. And this was supposed to be just a quick shot of the Jeep 2 months ago. And now it's cold. We're getting ready for our first snow during the night tonight. So I got the Chevelle under the tent because I don't have my indoor storage right now. So we're moving all the cars around in anticipation of the snow up here. And we can continue on with the rest of the video. I have no idea what the video is like, because it was 2 months ago when we filmed it, and it just wound up in a folder on my computer, and I kind of forgot about it and never filmed the final thing. So we'll continue on. Hope you liked the episode. If you did, give me that thumbs up, and if you like what we're doing here at Axel's Garage, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.